I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
Today is a day of celebration and a day of action. We are celebrating a number of people, but first we want to congratulate Chief Mitchell Davis III. He is the police chief of Hazel Crest, Illinois. He has just recently been elected the first African American to head the Illinois Police Chiefs Association. That's the first really in any state in the country, and so we're very proud of Chief Mitchell Davis. Also, we want to stop and pause to celebrate mothers on this Mother's Day. We're talking about mothers who stand in the tradition of the purpose of Mother's Day, a day designed to honor mothers of the movement, women who sacrifice time, talent, and in some instances, their own personal safety to wage a fight for civil and human rights. This week, we invite you to join us as we celebrate and express our pride at our Mrs. Jacqueline Jackson, who will receive a Doctorate of Humane Letters today from her alma mater, North Carolina A&T. Mrs. Jackson is known for her humanitarian work internationally, whether it was taking a delegation of women to Ethiopia to address hunger there, or to Vieques, Mexico, and submitting to personal incarceration to raise the issue of human rights for people in Vieques. We invite you to join us right now as we celebrate and pay tribute to Mrs. Jacqueline Jackson this Mother's Day. Today we have a power-packed broadcast, a lot of information to share with you. First, we want you to hear from three women who stand in the tradition of Mother's Day. Three women who are fighting for change against voting rights and police reform, challenging communities to end the rampant community violence, the pandemic of violence that we see all across the country. And then we want to add one other woman, attorney Barbara Unwine, a mother in her own right, who spends her days fighting against voter suppression, organizing marches in 100 cities across the nation called the John Lewis Good Trouble Votercade. Attorney Unwine will receive an honorary Doctorate of Laws degree from Duke University. So we celebrate you, Barbara Unwine, and you're going to hear from her now.
Mother's Day for me, Black women and women around the world, we are the leaders of humanity. And part of humanity is making sure that every person has dignity and respect and has the ability to live a full and wholesome life. And that means we got to get rid of a whole lot of isms, right? Like racism and sexism and, gender discrimination and so many other things and we have so many problems in our communities of the lack of respect for women with disabilities. I mean, there's just thousands of issues. But what is so important is voting. Voting is the center of all of this, because you can't talk about environmental justice and not talk about voting. You can't talk about policing and get rid of all this violence in policing without talking about voting. You can't talk about fairness in the criminal justice system without talking about voting. Streets, municipal services, education, college, is it going to be free or not? Tuition, will debts be forgiven, business development, everything that we care about comes down to our vote. And we are in a period of crisis right now. I mean, the mantle has descended upon the shoulders of our generation to fight for voting rights because we are embattled. There are 47 states that are up to nothing but wickedness. that have, that have something like 381 evil voter suppression bills that have been introduced. They had the gall just 2 days ago in Florida to pass SB 90, which is a vicious voter suppression bill that says, again, like Georgia said, that they're going to arrest people if they give people water or food standing in 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 hour lines that they created. The counties created it, the states created it, and then they're going to punish people for trying to help those poor voters at the polls. I mean, this is just viciousness all over the country. So on May 8th, we are going to, on Mother's Day weekend, we're going to be out there in droves, and you know the moms are going to be showing up, and we're going to have children in tow, and husbands and everybody else in tow, because this is our work, right? We believe so strongly. It's no accident that Black women, do you hear me, led the way in 2020, that young women led the way in 2020. We were decisive to the outlook of the current United States Congress. So I want everyone to know that on May 8th, join us. Go to John Lewis voting, John Lewis dayofaction.org, johnlewisdayofaction.org, and be part of the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Day. But also, I just want, this is going to air on the 8th itself. And so many of you are going to say, well, I guess I better put my shoes on. I better get in my car and go down to Rainbow Push. I better go in Votercade. And folks, let me tell you, we've done 55 Votercades around the country. We've had at least 120,000 people participate with us. Not one report of anybody being ill, because folks stay in their cars. And you get to drive, and you get to be seen, and you get to be heard. And when Congress gets back into session on May 10th, what they gonna be talking about? They're gonna be talking about having seen you in the streets, having heard those votercades, having heard throughout the country people saying we care, and that nothing's more important to us than voting rights. So if you're anywhere in the nation, Dallas, California, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Newport, no matter where you are, folks, Boston, New York, of course, Milwaukee, Louisville, Utah, Selma, Atlanta, no matter where you are in this country, you got a votercade happening near you. So when you go to that John Lewis dayofaction.org website, you're going to get all kind of great information about how you can be involved and participate, watch our national broadcast this afternoon, and more importantly, stay involved. Because ultimately, just like John Lewis stood on that bridge and decided to move forward when they saw those vicious state troopers standing there, hitting their batons in their hands, on their horses with their gas masks. They had no illusions that these people were just, quote, showing off. They knew it was dangerous, but they also knew that the moment called them. And every life, and we know that when we're at mothers, when we're giving birth, right? When that moment's upon you, you got to move forward. You got to be pregnant with possibility. You got to come out and be and deliver and into this world the newness, the fight that will make sure that justice will be manifest in our country. That is the moment that's upon us right now for us to fight, for us to move everything forward. And when we pushed our babies into the world, that's how we push justice forward into the universe and into the global community.
Also today, every week, we want to bring you updates and progress on the work we're doing to challenge America, particularly HUD, Housing, the Department of Housing and Urban Development. We want HUD to reinvest in public housing, to begin to reconsider its real agenda to make sure that people who are living at the margins of life have safe, secure, and sanitary housing to live in for themselves and for their family members. And so we have Bishop Tavis Grant will share an update on our Concordia Place project.
This is Bishop Tavis Grant, the National Field Director for the Rainbow Push Coalition. I want to thank you for being a part of our International Saturday Morning Forum. You know, the work of Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson has spanned for well over 55 years. And we're so excited and engaged in this national initiative for affordable, sustainable, livable, and even enjoyable housing. You know, since the George Floyd case, across the country, we've seen people take to the streets and march together, protest together, and raise their voices as it relates to inequality and social justice. That's what this initiative is all about. I want to thank Reverend Jackson for meeting with the first African American Speaker of the House for the state of Illinois, Speaker Chris Welch, who's made a commitment to mobilize and galvanize behind this initiative, pulling together legislators, particularly the Illinois Black Caucus, in addressing housing developments across the state of Illinois. And we're going to be doing it in several states around the country. And so you see the address at the bottom of the screen, www.rainbowpush.org. You can reach us here at Dr. King's Workshop, the national headquarters for the Rainbow Push Coalition, 773-373-3366. When we talk about solutions and when we talk about remedies, whether it's workforce development, whether it's housing and health outcomes, whether it is jobs and access to capital, as well as recapitalizing these communities to raise the level of sustainable housing, guess what? We can do it together. So you see the address at the bottom of the screen. I want you to join me. If you're a legislator, if you're a pastor, if you're an elected official, we need to do this together, and we are keeping hope alive. Thank you.
We're going to talk about voter suppression.
Yes, we are. Voter suppression, how we put it all in the context, the importance of the vote on all of the issues that matter to me. And I want to thank you, Reverend Dr. Wilson, for having me. I want to extend my thoughts and best wishes to Reverend Jackson, whom I've also worked with over the years. And I want to thank my ABA State and Local Government Chair, Eric Levine Powers, and our esteemed panel. I'm Cynthia Swan, and I am a member of the ABA Civil Rights and Social Justice Leadership Council, where I co-chair the Criminal Justice Committee and have co-chaired the Election, the Education, as well as the inaugural African American Affairs Committee. And I'm also a member of the State and Local Government Section, co-chairing the Voting Rights Committee. And so as we put all of those things together, and as we look to address the concerns of our communities of color broadly, and our Black and African American communities specifically, we must never lose focus of the need to protect and defend the vote. We must also remember to present from a nonpartisan race-based voting rights perspective, so as not to alienate any as we advocate for safe and secure elections. For each deficiency that our communities experience in social and human services, whether it's policing, healthcare, education, housing, environmental protections, public transportation, the courts, and so much more, we must bring about a realization that our vote is our voice. And if we are to experience improvements and enforcements in any of these areas, then we must do our part and vote. I am personally of the belief that if we are to have our communities to become more engaged, we must empower them by educating and informing them on the importance of their vote. It must be believed that it is an absolute responsibility to register and to vote if, in fact, we are ever going to improve upon the issues that affect our daily lives.
So let's talk about voter suppression. I know 43 states have introduced some form of legislation to suppress the vote. Can you share a little bit of that information? What is the ABA doing about it?
We are experiencing a significant uptick in voter suppression efforts, especially as the 2018 and 2020 elections saw an unprecedented amount of voter participation, especially from our communities of color. Black communities registered and voted in huge numbers. And so we're finding states like Georgia, Florida, Texas, and others, Arizona, and we can go on and on, Wisconsin, Michigan, we can just continue, who are beginning to press legislation that will restrict the vote. They're doing it in ways of reducing ballot boxes, requiring identification, requiring other measures that are impossible in many instances to meet. We have Native American communities who have to travel 100 miles in order to vote. I mean, we have a lot of issues that are happening. And so the ABA, through our civil rights and social justice work, as well as through the work of state and local governments, have put together and are working with committees who are reaching into our communities, finding attorneys who are willing to work pro bono and become actively engaged. And how do we begin to have the legislative perspective addressed and the litigation brought forward in cases that will make changes. We are constantly engaged in all of the community engagement, legal community meetings, whether it's with the Lawyers Committee, Leadership Conference, a number of others that are out there, and the minority groups, MALDEF. We are constantly actively engaged with these NAACP, obviously NAACP LDF, and it just goes on and on, the groups that we are connecting with through our members being members of these different collaborative efforts.
So in your final words, what would you say to the viewing audience about voter suppression and how we can address it?
We must engage our communities through civic engagement, education, and advocacy, organizing, voter mobilization, and litigation. If we are going to initiate change, our communities must understand their power, beginning at the state level and moving through our national agenda. Judges, states attorneys, prosecutors, sheriffs, voting commissions, et cetera, they all have power, and we have the power in our vote. We must increase voter participation among people in historically underrepresented communities in selected states, actually in all states. We must remove barriers to voting and promote positive changes to voting laws and election administration through public education, organizing, and litigation. And we must deepen alignment, coordination, and planning across national and state litigation, voting rights, and civic engagement organizations. In states that increase voter participation rates in historically underrepresented communities, we've seen salient efforts on issues of policing, healthcare, education, housing, through year-round advocacy around election protection and identifying and addressing voter suppression. We need to continue organizing in leadership development, voter mobilization. But we have to first and foremost, I think, always remember that election protection is year-round. We tend to move up on this particular issue when elections are coming and fall back off of it once the election is over. And if we don't make election protection a year-round effort, then we are not going to be able to be successful in protecting these other issues that we're concerned about.
Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate the insight, and hopefully you will join us at this year's convention in June, because we're going to get into this in greater depth and greater detail. Really appreciate the work that you do with the American Bar Association, as well with the National Bar Association. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Push Excel is inviting you to participate and apply for the Aramark Scholarship. This award is going to go towards 10 high school CPS seniors. Anyone that is interested in pursuing a career in building management or trade, please apply at www.pushexcel.org for a $2,500 scholarship. If you are interested, you can have a career going to Kennedy King College with the scholarship, and we want to partner with you to succeed.
Attention high school seniors and college freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. If you are in need of financial assistance, Push for Excellence offers a variety of scholarships for which you may be eligible to apply. Whether it's the Jesse Jackson Fellows Toyota Scholarship, the Cirillo McSween New York Life Scholarship, or the Oralee Sanders Scholarship, Push for Excellence strives to offer something for everyone. Here are just a few of our scholarship recipients.
Hello everyone viewing, my name is Chidi Osakwe.
Dominique Davis.
Julian Jones.
China Mazum.
Miles Cherubin.
Jalen Clark.
Marcus Anderson.
Jaden Reed.
Kari Young.
It's Megan Chu and I'm a Cirillo McSween Scholar.
I want to take this opportunity to thank Reverend Jesse Jackson for all his support of my college education.
Thank you for all of Toyota for helping with Reverend Jackson with the scholarship as well.
I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you to Reverend Jesse Jackson for helping to make the scholarship opportunity possible for me.
As appreciative as I was before, I'm even more grateful now having received this scholarship.
Not only has it helped me out financially with paying for tuition, but it has also awarded me the opportunity to learn more about the Rainbow Push Coalition and their different initiatives in the African American community.
I'd like to say thank you to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the Rainbow Push Coalition for all the generosity and support that they've shown me throughout my undergraduate career and for the opportunity to pursue higher education.
For more information, please visit our website at www.pushexcel.org and click on the word scholarships. Thank you and keep hope alive.
And guess what? We want to celebrate young people. Anybody that's graduating from kindergarten, 8th grade, high school, college, graduate school, we want to acknowledge you on our broadcast. Send us your picture. Tell us what school you're graduating from and your photo. Please send us a picture. We're celebrating graduates in the month of June. You have from now to June 15th. Get your picture in, get the information in so that you can be on our broadcast. We're going to do something really special for the 2021 graduating class. It's been a difficult year. It's been difficult for many of you, but this is going to be an exciting moment.
Push Excel's goal is to inspire students to strive for excellence in education in spite of personal, family, and community challenges that they might experience. How do we do this? By advocating for educational policies that guarantee equal funding for all students without regard to race or economic standing. By engaging parents, students, and teachers in pursuing high-quality education and striving for educational excellence at every level, and by forging partnerships with community-based and public sector stakeholders in education. Now, Push Excel is a national model program with the purpose of connecting principals, parents, popular personalities, and students in a bond and to support students at every level on the educational ladder. Now, we want you to become a member of the Rainbow Push Coalition and Push Excel. Your annual membership can help us to change policies that impact students, colleges, and universities all around the country. So step up and sign up today. Membership is only $35, and if you're a student or a senior, $15. Just go to our website, rainbowpush.org, and push join to become a member or push donate to support the Push Excel program. You can also text the word Push Excel, that's PUSHEXCEL, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give us any amount that you feel comfortable giving or call us at 773-256-2775. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you. And remember to keep hope alive.
Reverend Jesse Jackson began this work in the late 1990s. He gathered with Silicon Valley leaders in the 90s to talk about this evolving reality of technology and the digital world.
We could bring to pass the vision of Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson Sr., and that is equality even in the tech industry, so that the bad hand that we had been dealt with can be replaced by a good hand of equality of opportunities.
That we should be focused on making sure that our advancements are structural, so that we're actually building new infrastructure, new policy, new ways of doing business that will survive.
Be values driven and don't compromise, and define for your life, this is how I prefer to be treated, this is how I will be treated, and really get with a company that aligns with your values. There's plenty of tech companies out there, and don't budge on that.
people who look like us, Black and brown Americans, to not just get online, but fully leverage this new tech economy and this new online economy that now drives the American economy.
What I would say to tech workers at this moment is, this is a moment of opportunity. If you're not applying for the promotion, if you're not applying for the loan now, don't wait. Get out there. Make these companies make good on their commitment to invest in the African American, Latinx, and other underrepresented minority communities.
These important conversations might not be possible because of your support and partnership. Our collaborative work of advancing economic justice and inclusion in the tech sector will continue.
Another year of excitement, another year of impact, and another year we get to share as we gather the family together to do something great.
Watch over my babies, cover them and keep them on their way. And if danger's around them, no harm will befall them. I know you hear a mother's prayer. God above all others, please cover my mother. Visit strength and wisdom, oh, to her each day. And Father, for her faithfulness, grant her peace of mind and nothing less. I know you hear my daughter's prayer.
Happy Mother's Day to every mother that is actively engaged in not only raising their particular biological or adopted or foster children, but we want to talk about mothers taking action, mothers fighting for social justice, mothers pushing the system for change and pushing for equity, pushing for rights that women should have in this place. And so we have some powerful mothers and women with us today. They represent a lot. And so I want to introduce to all of you who are watching and viewing and listening, Ms. Pam Bosley. You've heard her, Purpose Over Pain. She's a violence prevention manager at St. Sabina Church. And she just does so much to connect mothers who've lost children to violence. But beyond that, she's moved into this idea of purpose, and we're going to hear from her shortly. And then we have with us Donna Gutman, who is she says, I'm an activist, but she's more than just the word activist. She represents a number of organizations, National Council of Jewish Women, Chicago Women Take Action, and other organizations where women are moving in a very active way to highlight the issues that women face, to fight for justice for women of color, but all women, in terms of pay equity, in terms of access to career options and opportunities. And then we have Ms. Grace Chan McKibben, the executive director of the Coalition for Better Chinese America. And when we look at what's happening to Asian Americans in America today, the hate crimes that all of us have witnessed, whether you African American, Jewish American, or Asian American, or Latino American, we all face hate crimes in our communities. And so we're going to start with Pam Bosley, and all of you can chime in. What is it that you see women, mothers, should be doing and can do, and what are you doing as we look at the level of violence within our community? A lot of people are focused on the police-involved violence, but what about the violence that we're perpetrating against each other? Pam, how you celebrating Mother's
Day? Actually, Mother's Day weekend, we doing something too. Purpose Over Pain is a group of parents whose children's lives were taken by violence, and we consider us mothers on the move. We always trying to help each other and get our cases solved, advocate for common sense gun measures. And actually, I'm glad we heard that. The next day on May 8th, we're going to try to be there too. So our big event this year is at St. Sabina on May 7th. And what we're doing is, our goal is to beautify mothers that lost their children to violence. So we have a spa day set up for them. Every year we try to do something. With COVID, of course, we have to bring our numbers down. Usually we have over, hundreds of, over 100 parents, moms come in. But this year we're going to keep it the number at 70 or 75. So throughout the day, we will have parents. They have to register. So we having parents come together to get spa. They're gonna get massages, their nails polished, their hair done. The goal is to build them up and show support. We're gonna feed them and just make sure that we show love, because throughout the year these mothers are fighting for justice. Also, they fighting for justice to get their cases solved, because in Chicago only 80% of the cases are solved. Are unsolved. 80% of the cases are unsolved. So our goal is to get our cases solved and to continue to fight for justice for this day-to-day shootings that's taking place. So that particular weekend, we doing some things too. On May 7th, we'll be at St. Sabina supporting one another, and support is needed, because the first year, this is my son Terrell, as I spoke before, his life was taken April 4th, 2006. And that first year I tried to take my life twice. So from that, God moved me from the pain to the purpose for my life. And my goal is, and our goal is, to be the moms on the move, to fight for justice, advocate for common sense gun measures, and to support parents just like us, and let parents know that they can make it.
Mothers on the move.
Yes, we are.
And if people wanted to, or wherever you are in the country, you can have a Purpose Over Pain action. You can be a part of Purpose Over Pain. You can contact Pam Bosley. You will see her email on the bottom of the screen, because I know so often once you lose a child, you feel alone, you feel lost. It's very difficult, as most of us as mothers know. Once that umbilical cord is cut at birth, you feel some kind of way. And that's why a lot of women in postpartum go into depression. Well, can you imagine the umbilical cord being cut by early transition of your child? We then have to find value in life beyond that moment of the death of your child. And so I thank you, Pam, and Purpose Over Pain.
And can I just say one more thing, Reverend?
You can.
I want everybody to know that first, I was a mother, of course, in my own home. But it takes all of us to have that mother instinct and work to be a mother for those that don't have mothers. If you got you see kids on the streets that need help, because that's what I do at St. Sabina. I reach out to young people that need help. So my mother instincts kick in for not just my three sons, but it kick in for everybody. So we need more true mothers that's in the community that can help others. Don't just keep it within your home. We need you to reach out throughout the communities.
We're saying Mother's Day is more than about your biological relationship to a child. We must be mothers of children in our communities, children in our pathways. We are the mothers that God is looking for. And now I am so excited. We have Grace Chan McKibben, who represents, she's executive director for the Coalition for a Better Chinese America. Many of us really are just learning about the level of hate crimes that Asian Americans have experienced, among other things. And so I'm so happy to have you here with us to share this Mother's Day moment. What are you doing as a mother? And how many children do you have?
I have 4 children, and they are 27, 25, 22, and 20. So even the little baby is not a teenager anymore. But I think that being a mother is important whether your kids are little or whether they are taller than you, because what we do every day to fight for our community and to fight for every community so that we can all be included and there's equity for everyone is for the future. It's for our children, whether they're biological children or children, other people's children. They are all our children.
So what are you doing with your coalition? What does it do?
Yeah, the Coalition for a Better Chinese American Community is based in Chicago's Chinatown, but we work with Chinese American communities in Chicago and the suburbs, but primarily in Chinatown, Bridgeport, McKinley Park, to make sure that we advance the Asian American community. We have worked to fight for a new library in Chinatown, the new Pingtong Park, the field house. So a lot of folks don't know that the last park that was in Chinatown was torn down in the 1960s in order to accommodate the Dan Ryan. And then the community had to fight for over 30 years to get a new park. And that should not be the case. I think a lot of times people forget that because of the Asian American stereotype of being quiet and not making any waves, we tend to be invisible. And it is unfortunate that it takes some tragedies recently with the violent crimes, with the shooting in Atlanta, the shooting in Indiana, that folks are finally realizing that this is a community with our own set of needs, our own set of complex issues, and that we want to fight for our rights and our voices along with other communities. And one of the things that I want to point out that, anti-Asian hate is a problem for everyone, not just for Asians, just like we want to uplift the needs of all the other communities as well. Anti-Blackness is an issue for Asians as well as it is for our African-American and Black brothers and sisters. So I think that we want to stand in solidarity with each other.
We stand with you. I think that one of the growing languages that we are asking children to learn is Chinese, in terms of China's impact on the economics in the world. Also, as we look at every major city, there's a large concentration of Asian Americans, a growing concentration of Asian American families and children. I think it's very interesting that you got to fight for a playground for almost 60 years. Mm-hmm. That is incredible. Yep. And, as mothers, we have to think about places that our children can safely engage in fun activities. At PUSH, we are working to look at options for some children living in Concordia Place. It's a public housing development on the far south side of Chicago. The playground was not open. It was not properly painted, and it did not have the kind of playground equipment that children should be exposed to. When you go it's out by Argyle Gardens, there's nothing out there. So if you don't have a park for your housing development, the children have no safe place to play with the kind of playground equipment that children can exercise and engage in positive activities. And so we're fighting for them to have that. And when you talked about the library, I think it's so significant to make sure that children have access to a digital library, the state-of-the-art library, so that they can operate in a remote environment. And so I'm so happy to have you on this Mother's Day. We're just trying to give mothers. It's not about how many flowers you're going to get and what gifts you're going to get. What is it you're going to give to a generation that's here and a generation to come? And so I'm glad we have Donna Gutman. She's representing National Council of Jewish Women. She represents Chicago Women Take Action, and she's my favorite activist. Oh. Donna, how are you celebrating this Mother's Day?
Well, I'm going to be very involved in the May 8th. I'm one of the organizers for the John Lewis Day of Action for Chicago with some great partner women, all women who are making this happen. And so I'm really excited. It's so much a part of my DNA to be reaching out and broadcasting what social injustice looks like. I mean, we have so much of it going on. Just a little backdrop here. NCJW, National Council of Jewish Women, was founded in Chicago in 1893 by Hannah G. Solomon, who was a fighter, a woman of privilege who was a fighter. She refused to serve coffee to men at the World's Fair in 1893, walked out of the tent and wrote letters to 1,000 women who came to the World's Fair. And that was really the launching. Can you imagine? No email, no nothing. She wrote the letters, 1893. And I think there's the sections all around the country all perform different community service oriented actions depending on the needs of the community. There's some that do it for getting sanitary pads and tampons in schools, in public schools. So it depends on the need, but one of the great things that it always been involved is just immigration. And you have to know that NCJW was the only or the first encampment on Ellis Island to welcome the stranger.
Wow.
Yeah, they had, the mayor at that time allowed them to have an actual shack, booth, stand, because there were predators waiting for these young girls who came alone from Europe and were going to be definitely recruited into sex trafficking. And so they would say, and they had women who spoke all different languages. And she says, come with me, come with me. You're safe with me, come with me. I'm a mom, I understand, and I'm going to help you. So that's the very rich history on the immigration side. It didn't matter where you emigrated from. If you were a girl and you were alone, you were embraced by National Council of Jewish Women. Since then, we've been very involved with juvenile justice reform and continue with sex trafficking and certainly access to reproductive health care and abortion. Probably we're right there with Planned Parenthood and everything that is done to scream, rant, and raise our voices to say, my body, my choice. Abortion is healthcare, and Planned Parenthood performs a lot of services, and they should never, ever be denied the right to help, particularly people who are, it provides affordable healthcare for them and their families. So, and we're involved with gun violence prevention, which I'm very dear to my heart because I'm involved with Brady. And we're making some baby steps, and yet we all know as mothers, the heartbreak of simple things like background checks not being passed. How egregious, how destructive that is to people who can get access, people who shouldn't have access and do have access to weapons, no matter what their size. And so I can't imagine there's anything more heroic than being a mother. I have 8 grandchildren, and I have that come from 5 children, not all of them bearing children, but there's a whole bunch of us. And what I really, really love is the fact that my 5-year-old granddaughter, when Joe Biden won and I came in through the gate and she says, Kamala Harris is there. And I said, wow, talk about, the influence of your actions and the influence of your passion and purpose.
Right.
And she knew it. She knew it. She knew it right away, to the point that she and her mother all bought us, the 3 of us, Ruth Bader Ginsburg t-shirts. And we have this fabulous photo of the 3 of us, my daughter-in-law, the little girl sitting there dressed with a Ruth RBG shirt. So I think what we can do as mothers, and what am I doing? Of course, I told you what I'm doing on May 9th, but NCJW is also, and they've been doing this for years, they call it the Mother's Day Basket to Shelters. And we do it every year. We haven't been able to deliver in person this last year, obviously, and probably not this year either, but gift cards for a myriad of shelters across the city. And what do? I send all my daughter-in-laws a letter saying a donation has been made. to women in shelters who may not be as fortunate as you are in your home with your children. So, I feel like my roots of activism really mirror the activism of National Council of Jewish Women, from childcare to juvenile justice, all the way to helping the elderly and the people less fortunate.
Well, I thank all of you for sharing what you're doing, and I want you to help me do something. We discovered at Push that women who receive food stamps do not have the ability to purchase diapers with the stamps. Now, Senator Duckworth and Representative Bass are working to change that law, which does not allow them to buy diapers with the stamps, as if you're buying something negative. So we're asking mothers, women all across the country, to send us diapers, because we want to become a diaper depot that we can provide diapers to mothers of all sizes. Don't ask me the size, because I haven't had a baby in years, so I don't know. But whatever size you get in the store, we want to be able to be a diaper depot. And so for this Mother's Day, I want every woman that's listening, and men too, we need to make sure that we do two things. Donate diapers. You can do it through, Amazon, Smile, or whatever. But you could also, and have them shipped to Rainbow Push, 930 East 50th Street, so we can help mothers. They shouldn't have to worry about buying diapers. They're choosing between diapers and baby food or food. And secondly, we must lobby our elected officials at the federal level to make sure that food stamps are allowed to allow the women to purchase diapers. That's stupid. And just think about it. We have a lot of mothers who are incarcerated. They can't get the necessary diapers for those children that are born to women behind prison walls. So we need to think about how, as women, we deal with women behind the bars as well as women in front of the bars. There are many women behind the bars that not only they have children outside, but those women, I visited the jails and I've noticed they don't have the change of clothes that, as you know, and the materials that women need once a month. So I want us to look at how do we as women decide to take on the role of women behind bars. I've had to help several women individually negotiate that time that they spend either in county jails or in prison, just having the contact, just having support. If we change our outfits every day, how do you give me one cell uniform that I may get to wash once a week in the middle of COVID? So mothers, we have a job to do. We got to fight for the John Lewis voting rights bill. We have to fight the state legislatures to change the policing law state by state. And we also want a federal law, the George Floyd Act passed, so that we can reform the police departments nationally. But every state regulates the laws for police misconduct, police use of force. And so we have to be focused on that. And then to Pam Bosley's point, we got to focus on what we do for mothers and families who lose children to community violence. We have to change the investments in those neighborhoods. We got to pass gun laws. Back to the Brady Bill, we have to eliminate assault weapons on the street and easy access to guns, that our children are getting dropped off of railroad cars that enter in certain communities. And then finally, mothers. I know it seems like I'm giving you a lot to do, but mothers can do this. We juggle all stuff every day. We have to stop hate crimes. We have to have every state pass hate crime legislation so that it's not a question whether it's an Asian American, African American, Jewish American, Latino American. It's a hate crime, and there's some different penalties and actions that need to occur when those crimes are perpetrated. They're burning synagogues, they're burning churches, they are shooting in mosques and temples, we must pass hate crime legislation state by state, wherever you are, whatever state you live in. We want to make sure that these actions against people of a different culture, a different color, are considered hate crimes. I thank you so much. Get busy. Stay focused.
Can we find
It's our
one
day.
last question? One last question. Can we find, and thank you so much for inviting me to this. I'm honored. I'm absolutely honored. I didn't say that.
Well, we want to convene all you women
We
and
are.
others that you know for the convention. Women must come together. We want nationally women coming across all races, cultures, whether you're working, unemployed, retired, whatever you're doing, business owner. We want women to join us as we take on how we're going to push our public policy agenda and what we're going to do as we look at the international, the globe. What are we doing for human rights around the world and in America? We can make a difference. We have the majority, we have the power, and we gave birth to all of them.
Yeah. No greater
Good
heroine
and bad.
than motherhood.
They passed through us.
Yeah,
we have the
motherhood.
power.
Right, motherhood
We have
has
the power
power.
of influence.
We are. How do we send the diapers? Can you just give us a little heads up?
You send the diapers to 930 East 50th Street, Rainbow Push.
Okay.
930 East 50th Street.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
We
Thank
truly
you so
thank
much.
you. And happy Mother's Day to everybody.
Thank all of you.
I'll see you on May 8th in my
May 8th,
caravan.
Be there. Be there.
All right, we'll see you passing you up in the car.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
Don't
Take care.
drive too fast. Now, we have several ways for you to get involved with PUSH today. First of all, you can become a member. That's very simple. You can go to rainbowpush.org and you can pay $35 if you're under age 65 and not a student, or you can pay $15 if you're a senior or a student and become a paid member of the Rainbow Push Coalition. Membership matters. And then the second thing, if you know of a student who's in high school, 9th through the 12th grade, they should be a part of our virtual college tours. This year, because of COVID-19, we're having virtual tours. We're going to some 8 historic Black colleges, but we're going to other colleges. Have them register for the virtual college tour. That way they can begin to decide early on where they might want to go to college, what college offers for them. The third thing you can do is, if you know a student who will graduate from 8th grade, 12th grade, college, community college, or graduate school, have them send their photo and a 2-line, 2-sentence bio, which says the school they're graduating from, the year, the grade they're graduating from, so that we can pay tribute to them in our baccalaureate service on June the 27th. That's like a graduation program. We're having a graduation program to celebrate students that you know. Have them send a photo, 2-line bio. We want to salute them June 27th. Right now, you can register for the Rainbow Push Convention. It's virtual. All you have to do is register. You're going to get so much information. You're going to get so many connections that you normally would not have. You're going to be ready to join us when we leave the convention. We're going to be taking some aggressive actions to end voter suppression. We're going to deal with housing. We're going to deal with education, educational equity. We're going to deal with opportunities for jobs and contracts. You don't want to miss this year's convention. Register now. Go to rainbowpush.org. It's only $35. Everybody can be in. Everybody can serve. It's something that you can do.
For 2021, we're excited to get more people engaged and involved in Rainbow Push, supporting the programs of Push for Excellence and the Citizenship Education Fund. Now, if you're interested in public policy and you want to help change the policies that impact those who are incarcerated, you can do so. If you're interested in impacting public policies that benefit education and businesses with social economic solutions, you can do that as well. You can become a policymaker by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now. Now, if you believe in the scholarships that we've given to thousands of students each year, you can help us out. We've awarded more than $10 million in scholarships year to date. Now, you can help young people achieve a higher education by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now. For the annual fee of only $35. And if you're a student or a senior, it's only $15. You can help us make a difference in the lives of millions. Now, if you watch us every week, or if you listen to us on the radio, or if you're viewing on social media, we need you to become a member. And how do you become a member? It's simple. Visit us at rainbowpush.org and press join. Maybe you'd like to support the work of PUSH. If so, it's really simple. You can do so by texting the word PUSH, that's P-U-S-H, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give any amount that you feel comfortable giving, or you can call us at 773-256-2775 or go to rainbowpush.org and push donate. So whenever you want to support, you can do it from anywhere. So keep pushing, because we're going to keep pushing for you and keep hope alive.
Attention college freshmen. If you are a business or engineering major with a 3.0 GPA and will be starting your sophomore year this fall, Toyota has an opportunity just for you. The Jesse Jackson Fellows Toyota Scholarship is a $25,000 scholarship that is renewable for 2 additional years and includes summer internships. The deadline to apply is May 31st. For more information, visit www.pushexcel.org today.
Dr. Kim, I went to jail with a group of 7 students, July 17, 1960, almost 60 years ago. We never stopped moving. I lost a few jail cells and death. We never stopped moving. I thought it was time to write some of it down so the older generation can learn how we did and what we did and how global it was. Whether speaking about Mandela in South Africa, India, Qatar, Gandhi in India, here at home. This book tells the story, so please get it and give it to your friends. Read it, let's argue about it, let's discuss it.
Yep, so the book is Keeping Hope Alive, Sermons and Speeches of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. It's quite a good collection. You know, we've got sermons and speeches from around the globe because you have made such a global impact, not just here in the US, but around the world.
Thank you for tuning in to our International Saturday morning broadcast. We need your support. Here are ways to give to Rainbow Push Coalition. Text PUSH, P-U-S-H, to 41444 to support the work of Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. and Rainbow Push Coalition. When you shop, Amazon gives. Visit Amazon Smile and select PUSH for Excellence as your charitable organization by starting your shopping at smile.amazon.com.
Get involved with the movement.
Somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
Join the movement.
If you're not a member, become a member.
I am somebody.
Fighting the most important battles for freedom and justice for all.
You made us change. Oh, trying to bring closer.
Join Rainbow Push.
But you're not pushing me away. Join the movement.